Yeah, we're going to make a video on replacing the spindle bearings, sorry for the bad lighting, for the spindle. You can see that. This one right here. Got a little wobble to her, and she's making a little bit of noise. So I'm going to see if I can take this loose here, take this loose here, take off that nut, and I've got another set of these pulleys. They got 2 holes in them, and I'm going to bet that if I can put bolts in them, I can pull them up and off. But before we get even started on that, I need to take this loose. Get it up and out of my way. I'll probably have to unbolt it back there. And then I can get to this. Of course, the one I need to replace is the hardest one because it's underneath this brace right here. So, in a few minutes, we will get started on that. Okay, step 1, get this cotter key out. Cotter pin, whatever you want to call it. Step 2, find out if this thing's going to launch itself off at me. Feels like it might have a little pressure on it. Nope, no pressure. Just blade off. You excuse me, I'm going to pause it. I think you can see that blade there. I'm going to zip that off. I'm going to see if there's a snap ring on the bottom of it. Not seeing anything, but this also doesn't exactly look the way it's supposed to. Okay, getting the belt off is fairly simple. Just grab this, pull it over, get some slack in the belt. Me, I just pulled it with the belt itself. Stuck my screwdriver in there. Of course, now it's not going to work quite as well as I wanted. And then flip the belt off of that idler pulley right there. And now I have enough slack to slip this belt up and off. Now, I see I'm going to need a new belt. This one's got, don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got 2 splits in it. I bet that puppy ain't cheap. So, okay, I'm skipping ahead here a little bit. You see this? Right here? I just raised and lowered the deck until I got it to where it would come clear back to here. And then it just slid with a little persuasion up through here so I can get this on here. This is called a socket. It's time to start soaking bolts, because that is not going to come off the way I want it to. So I'm going to drop the whole frickin' thing through the bottom, and you can just barely make out that it can and will or at least I think it will. I hope it will. Come out through the bottom, because, well, there's nothing to get a hold of up here. Okay, sometimes just using brute force is not the answer. So, had to go get the oxyacetylene torch. It's amazing what a little bit of heat will do for you. I was using MAP gas, but it's just taking too long. It really does not take long with oxyacetylene. Okay, I'm not going to bore you with the last two. I got one here and one there. One will be easy, one will not. And we got to get the belt out of the way, because, well, we don't want to set fire to it. But I'll get that off, and then we will see if we can get this thing to drop on out of here. Okay, we're down to the last one. I don't know if this thing's just going to fall out or what. And it's a good thing we're down to the last one, because I am just about out of oxygen. She didn't drop to the floor. I'm definitely not grabbing that last one, picking it up. I thought it would drop through, but it's not going to drop through. And you saw me working with that little chisel, air hammer, not not chisel, but air hammer. That's what they call a half stroke. Honest, that's what they call it. This is an old full stroke. Alright, I want to put that bolt back in. And I may want to heat this thing up. Dang it. Being out of oxygen is not a good thing right at this point in time. So let's just see if that thing will pop down through. Alright, I gotta get my foot up here so I can hang on. Oh yeah. Just need to chisel. Air hammer, not chisel. Chisel is a bit. Oh, it appears to be stuck. Appears I bent it a little bit too. It's going to come off. And if you've never seen one of these work, this goes all the way down, and then she starts lifting her up the deck. That's how simple that is. Oop, tripping on things. Oop, oop. Okay. Next, get to figure out how this come apart and clean everything up. Can you hear that? You should hear it when the mower's running. It drowns out the diesel engine. I will probably have to put this in the press and press it out. But out of curiosity, yep, that's doing it. It's going to press that bearing, knock that bearing right out. I could possibly even do this with a hammer. Let's see. And, okay, it's going to have to be driven on out the rest of the way. But, there's one bearing. There's the other bearing. I just got to drive this on out, clean it all up, and then put it all back together. I will be back. Okay, going back to the half stroke. Let me get things here where I can halfway see what you're seeing. I don't need that big. This would work better if I had it on the vise. Okay, spacers come loose inside. That means I'm knocking the bearing loose down here, which is fine because it's got to come out anyway. Boy, that's the one that's really bad. Don't know if you can see that spacer moving around in there. I'm going to put this up on a bench so I can support it better. Get the rest of the way out. Okay, there's the shaft. Wire wheeled it. Get it cleaned up. Ready to go back together. I do have to find the key. That had to have come flying off when I was pounding on this thing to knock it out. Oh, I think I just found it. Let's see if you can find it. Okay. Turn off the radio. Doesn't matter, I'm not making any money. Oh, thought I'd show you. Buffed this out. There's no snap ring. Cleaned out that in there. There's no snap ring. These bearings just drive in and drive out. Just work it side to side. And as you can see, the bearing's coming down. And I've hit the bottom of my vise. So to the floor it's going to go. Well, no, I'm going to stick my hand underneath and catch it. Hey, somebody did squirt some grease in there. It just never made it to the bearings. That's the sleeve that goes in there. It's a spacer. Basically, that's all it is a spacer. Spaces out between here and there. But this is all the more grease that was in this thing. I bought it used. This thing should have been packed full of grease. And it wasn't. Okay. Oh, I also took the wire wheel to this. Cleaned up these surfaces. I'm going to get on around these holes here. Clean up a little more of this before I reinstall it. Okay, and all I'm using is a punch and not even a huge hammer. An open side to the cage where the grease is supposed to go. If somebody had ever greased them, it looks like I'm going to be using a couple tubes of grease when I get done here. Putting this all back together. Okay, these are the bearings I got, and these are sealed bearings. So, shooting grease into these won't do me any good anyway. I'm going to get a screwdriver and clean that up. There's bearing numbers. Remember, this is for a Grasshopper. Mine is a 721D, but that doesn't really matter if it's for a 52 or 61 inch deck. So, that's the bearings that it takes. Can't tell you the brand. STP. Bought it from a machinery place. Like I said, I'm getting a screwdriver. Hang on. the vise up so she sits flat. Remember, beat on the outside edge, not the inside. But we're going to get the punch just to make sure. See, she went in a hair further. Can't go too far because there's a lip in there. Pull this old nasty grease out of here. I'm hoping, yeah, but you can see. I'd hate to think I did all that work for nothing. I tried looking up how to do this. I only found one guy and he didn't show a whole lot. And he ended up replacing the whole spindles. And took him, I think he said 3 weeks between ordering parts and reordering parts and things like that. I didn't pay that much attention because he wasn't doing it the way I need to do it. I don't want to replace these spindles. These spindles, I think the cheapest one I found was $140, which is a little pricey for a mower that I spent not even that much for. Nope, I spent more than that for, but wasn't a lot more. But it had problems. Okay, and once again I have laid things down. I bought this mower, been sitting for years. And I've had to fix a few problems with it. You get grease on your fingers, it's hard to open the box. You know, it's Christmas time. Want me to sing you a Christmas song? Hear that solid? Just tapping that sleeve over. You don't have to hit it hard. Just enough to make it decide to move. like such. And now got to kind of work that sleeve over. And hey, unlucky me. No, lucky me. For a minute there I thought that bearing came out, but it didn't. No more growling, anything like that. I'll put this up, stick the pulley on the top, run the nut down. That'll suck everything up here. So this won't be going in and out no more. And seal bearings are better than these, especially when nobody ever greases them. Okay, I don't think I really need to show you the putting it back together part. I mean, it's pretty simple. But you know what, I just might. Just for the fun of it. Okay, as I said, I'm not going to take you through the whole process. But I want to point out, when you put this thing back in, make sure you get the greaser over here. There's a little cutout. You got to have that greaser pointing that direction so that when you pull it all the way up, it's tight and you can grease it. If you have greasable bearings. These are sealed bearings. They won't take any grease, but I'll probably give them some anyway, just to stay on the safe side. And again, let's see if I can get this thing to focus. That's the numbers. Can you even see that through the glare? And that's the other numbers, and then there's some other numbers. So either way, I just looked it up by what it was. Grasshopper 52-inch deck. So that's all there is to changing the spindle bearings on your mower. And this is the hardest one to do because it is up underneath here, and you have to loose this, which I will have to lower the deck all the way back down and get it at its furthest point to push that back down up underneath here so I can reattach it. Where's my finger? Right there. Okay, just one last thing. First, buff up your key. You don't want it all rusty and stuff. Put it in the keyway. Now, what you're going to find is the shaft is going to drop. Now, I've got these blocks made up. I put them on my jack when I need to lift up something and I need extra height. Instead of throwing the jack on something, I throw this on the jack. Slide this up underneath. Get it under the spindle. Right there, the spindle just popped up. Sorry if I've got you at the wrong angle to see. There we go. Alright, now when I let the deck back down, you'll see that shaft pop up. Right there. Put your keyway in. They usually have to be tapped in a little. Pulley on. And excuse me for stepping in front of the camera. Put your washer on. Put your bolt in. And when I lift this back up, spins free. So I get my block out. I'm going to have to lift it all the way up anyway. Hey, I need to put the blade back on. And I am definitely not going to bore you with that. Okay, that's it. Merry Christmas. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and have a good day.